All right. Well, welcome back to PB and Jax, the podcast where we talk to pioneers and builders right here in the city of Jacksonville, Florida, or in this case, we're in St. Augustine. We're happy about it. In the brand new second location of the Pickle Factory, I'm here with Charlotte Zabari. Charlotte, thank you so much for being on PB and Jax.
Thanks, Randall.
Yeah, you're very welcome. We already did an episode with your husband, and it was great. We did a lot of the origin story talk, so we'll limit that here.
Yeah.
But I do want to at least get into your side of it.
Sure.
So you're originally from California,
Right.
and there's a journey that takes us to Northeast Florida. Can we just walk through that journey a little bit?
Sure. From California?
From California.
All right. Well, yeah, I was raised in California, Oakland, California, Bay Area, and I decided to go traveling. I wanted to travel the world, so I went to South America and was backpacking through Brazil, and that's where I met Shai. So he and I met on a tiny little island off the coast of Northeast Brazil. There were no roads. It was just really remote and small. And yeah, we that's where we met. So I came back to California. He was staying with his uncle in Philadelphia. And we had a long distance relationship, but after a little time, it just felt like, oh, this isn't realistic. It's not going to work out. So, kind of went our own separate ways. But, we were both sort of heartbroken about it because, we were meant to be. So yeah, 9/11 happened, and that was really a catalyst for both of us. But we reached back out and got reconnected and decided to just go for it. So we got married pretty quickly after that. We got married in San Francisco City Hall. He had to actually fly home that night back to Philadelphia. We didn't see each other for a couple months. And then in that time, he got a job offer in Daytona Beach, Florida. And otherwise, we were planning to move to Philadelphia.
Wow.
So, we ended up in Northeast Florida. And I thought at the time, okay, yeah, we'll go to Florida for a year and try it out. And then, of course, move back to California. So that was over 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So we've been here ever since.
So this is home.
This is definitely home. Yeah.
What was it like to marry and then have 2 months where you're not seeing your husband? What was that feeling?
Yeah, well, it was all just a big adventure at that time. Again, I had just been traveling and backpacking through South America, and we got back and then kind of got this, whirlwind marriage, and it's all part of the great adventure at the time. That's how it felt. So, it was bittersweet, all that good stuff. But then we met back up and drove to Daytona Beach and started our first year of marriage together, which is a different sort of adventure altogether. So yeah.
What year did you get married?
I think 2001.
2001.
Yeah.
So this was before like FaceTime.
Yeah, it was before. Yeah, it was way before cell phones, and way before FaceTime.
So having that kind of a distant relationship in 2001 is a little bit different than having one in 2026.
Yeah, we were like on the landline talking to each other and not seeing each other. Yeah.
Oh man, that's wild.
Yeah, and emailing. A lot of emailing back then. Yeah.
That is crazy. Yeah, the text I remember distinctly. Like you had to hit the button a certain amount of times to get to the letter you wanted.
Right. Yeah.
And then, man, what a mess.
Those Nokias.
What a mess. As for you got to Daytona, he had a job offer. He took it. You guys moved to Daytona. What did you do? I mean, when you got to Daytona, what did you do for work?
I was kind of culture shocked just because it's just so different, California to Florida. But I found a job at Costa Sunglasses, which used to be Costa Del Mar. And I started working there right before they got bought by AT Cross. And that brand totally changed after the acquisition. But I was there right before. So I worked there for a few years, and really I started in customer service, and then I became the customer service manager. Then I was the international sales manager. So I got to travel a little bit. But yeah, and I just got a lot of exposure to like lifestyle brands and marketing and like event marketing, a lot of that stuff at Costa. So Yeah, was there during a really interesting time when it went from this little sort of
Yeah.
like grandpa sunglasses to like the
Yeah.
lifestyle brand that it more so is today. Yeah.
Is it fair to say that what you learned in that job, if you were doing sales and marketing, had a direct effect on what you were able to do to grow the Olive My Pickle brand?
Definitely fair to say that, yeah.
Yeah.
I also yeah, I worked at Costa, and then, we took some time off and started like an urban farm. It was sort of like a hippie homestead dream, thing we needed to sort of, like, check off our list, but we did that a little bit. That didn't work out, but that led to, Shy making the pickles and putting them out on the table at the farm stand,
Yep.
and that eventually became the beginning of the farmer's market business for All My Pickle. But in that same time, I had left Costa and I started working for a company here in town, Natural Life,
Mhm.
which is like gifts and apparel. And that also being another lifestyle brand was very formative, I would say. And yeah,
And shaping the behind the scenes work
yeah,
to get the exposure on Olive My Pickle.
yeah, for sure.
Was the job that you just mentioned, Nature Life, is that what brought you to Jacksonville?
No, we actually no. I got that job right after we landed here. I was really lucky,
Mhm.
but we finished in like Daytona Beach at the farm, and it wasn't a good end of that business. We needed a change, but we had a lot of contacts, and we knew we wanted to stay at the farmers markets with this new business idea, which
Yeah.
was the olives and the pickles. So we wanted to stay, close enough, but not move away.
Yeah.
So yeah, we were able to do that with a move to Jacksonville. So that's what landed us in Jax.
Well,
Yeah.
the $1,000,000 question is why did you pick Jacksonville? I mean, we're so happy to have you, but
Yeah.
what made you settle on this region?
Yeah. Again, I think it was just we knew we needed a change. We wanted to come to a little bit of a bigger city without going to a big city.
Yep.
And I love the size of Jacksonville. It's to me it's perfect size city. And yeah, there was just opportunity here, and we knew
Mm,
some people, and it was a fresh start.
okay.
Yeah.
The big question after that is outside of the business. I understand the business is a huge part of that, but what made you stay? I mean, you've been
Yeah.
here so long now. Like,
Yeah.
what's kept you here?
Yeah. I think, certainly the business and just being like, heads
Mhm.
down, focused on that for so long. But really, like we have 2 boys and we've raised them here, and I think Jacksonville's a great place to
Mhm.
raise a family. Yeah, it's just this is where like we live now and where we're
Yeah.
from and where the boys are from. So
Yeah.
and they're in school and they like their school, and yeah, they're happy and we're happy too. So yeah,
Okay. Wonderful.
yeah,
So obviously, getting to this point is is a road, is a journey.
yes.
And you started in the farmers market. So
Mhm.
the St. Augustine Farmers Market and the Riverside Arts Market
Yeah.
near downtown. So walk through the beginning journey of that. You guys had little pop-ups.
Yeah.
Probably I think when I was first introduced to you, you had the barrels
Yep.
and one was pickles and one was olives. But
Yeah.
when you guys decided to go into the farmers market business,
Yeah.
what were you thinking when you did
Mhm.
that? What was the roadmap in your head?
Yeah.
And at what point did you deem that to be a successful venture?
So we started with I think one market a week, and then very quickly I think we did a Saturday Sunday. Then we did a Wednesday, and then we hired another guy, and he did some different ones. So
Mm,
very early on we were doing like I think like 25 markets a month, just like almost
almost
right
one
out
a
the gate.
day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. It was a lot, and you kind of get hooked on the action of it. So it was successful almost right away in that, it was a really popular booth and people really liked what we were doing. And, there weren't any fermented pickles,
Nope.
and olives were harder to find too. Um, yeah, and so, to answer the question, I think it felt like right away we knew we had something.
Mm,
Then, of course, it took a long time to figure out how to make that as successful as possible. In the very beginning, we used to sell by weight, and people would come and buy a little plastic cup of like 3 or 4 olives, and we package it up for them, and 28 cents later.
yeah.
And over time we figured out how to sell like, prefers and deals, and get that average order up, and help people to find more things that they liked to buy. So we
Yeah.
got better at that as time went by.
Why didn't you guys just keep it a hobby? Why
Yeah,
wasn't it just like in the family or friends and family?
yeah,
What made you say like we have something
yeah.
And before anybody ever bought a bag or bought
Yeah.
anything by weight, like at what point were you like, I think we can sell these things and I think that there's a market for it?
There was actually a very specific moment in time when that happened. Shy just started making them on our counter at home, and then he put them at the farm stand. And then when we needed a fresh break and we moved to Jacksonville, it was sort of it made sense to plug in at the farmers market, and then it just took off from there. But it really wasn't until we were a few years into the business, and I've told this story before, where we realized that Shy's process and the types of pickles that he was making were fermented pickles. This was like back in 2010,
Mhm.
2012 timeframe, and fermentation and probiotics weren't really, they hadn't hit yet. But we had a customer come to us at the farmers market and say, "Hey, the sauerkraut that I'm eating has completely resolved my digestive issues that I've been struggling with." And Shai came home and told me this, and I started to Google a little bit, and I was like, "Wait a second, I think these are fermented, and there's this whole a whole bunch of health properties to this."
Yeah.
And that's when we realized that we actually had like the makings of not just a pickle brand, because there's lots of pickle brands out there, and a lot of them are like kind of at the hobby level.
Yep.
But we knew we had something that was like a real like health food with a functional benefit, and it felt like, okay, maybe we can wrap a brand around this. And I learning that it was like fermentation
Yeah.
and what that was, which is funny because we didn't know that until a couple of years into the business. Shai was just making his grandmother's pickles.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
the part to me that's kind of wild, is that you guys
right.
had no idea
No idea.
that
Yeah,
what you were making was what you were making.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You
Yeah,
just knew they tasted good.
yeah, and that was the way he learned how to do it. And I wasn't like I didn't come from like a culinary background, or so
Y-
I wasn't truly paying attention. Now, of
Yeah.
course, I understand the difference between vinegar and acetic acid and
Hmm.
saltwater brine, and the difference is there. So, but yeah, back then they were just Shi's pickles. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, how did it feel to know that you guys made something that completely changed somebody's life for the
Yeah.
better?
Yeah. So that was the other piece of it. Like,
Yeah.
okay, there's something like really to this. And yeah, the more we learned and read and talked to people, also there was growing awareness in the consumer market as well about fermentation, probiotics, the microbiome. All that science came out around 2010
Mhm.
on forward. So right when our brand was growing, and awareness was also spreading in the consumer world about all of these things. So it was great timing.
Have you had anybody come to you since that first moment where people said, "Hey, I've been eating your products pretty regularly and it has completely changed the way I'm able to function as a human"?
Have we had anyone come since?
Yeah, has anybody else
Yeah.
told you that since? Like, I know the first
Yeah.
person did, and
Yeah,
but has
for
it been
sure.
more and more and
Oh,
more?
yeah, and
Yeah,
especially since we've gone online and we have, like, customer reviews coming in, like, all the time. We
yeah.
have tons of customer feedback. Yeah, I've, like, forgotten more than I even have been told about,
Mhm,
like, all the different, like, health benefits people have
mhm.
experienced. Of course, there's the digestive stuff and the, resolving IBS and, all kinds of things, but, like, people have gotten off of their, acid reflux medication with pickle juice. Yeah, there's a lot of different stories out there, and we prefer to just tell our customers stories.
Yep,
We don't wanna make health claims, because just because it worked for
yeah,
one person, it may not work for someone else.
yes.
But
But there are several claims out there that tell you if you eat fermented foods, that you will have a positive
yeah,
benefit for doing so.
right,
Okay.
exactly. So,
Well, how does it feel to know that you're doing that? I mean, is
yeah.
there like Shy as well? Shy was there when he first heard it,
Mhm.
but I mean, when you guys are sitting there talking and you're thinking like, okay, we're making something special, but people are telling us to our face
Mhm.
that we're feeling different
Mhm.
for the better.
Yeah.
Emotionally, how does that feel for you guys?
I mean, it's very gratifying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, growing a small scale fermentation business over the course of 16 years and spending the first
Mhm.
like 12 of those years at the farmers market. Yeah, it's been like a long,
Yeah.
hard, like,
Oh, we're gonna get into the long and
yes.
hard part. I mean,
Yeah.
trust me. I'm there's so much to this story
Yeah.
that people don't know. They see this, they
Right.
see the business journal articles and they see
Yeah.
the social media posts, and we're gonna get into it here in a second. But there was
Yeah.
there was definitely a road to get to where we are today.
Yeah, a long and winding road. But,
Yeah.
to your point, yeah, truly knowing that people were, yeah, it changed people's health outcomes
Yep.
and improved their lives. That's always kind of kept us going. So,
Okay.
yeah.
if somebody doesn't like pickles and you're talking to one,
Yeah.
how do you get somebody to force pickle juice down if they're
Yeah.
trying to take it for the health benefit, not for the taste?
Usually the first thing I do is say, well, a lot of times what you don't like is vinegar and like
Mhm,
acetic acid, which is like can be very just extremely strong and like
mhm.
tough to the senses. Saltwater brine is a lactic acid process, so it's just a mellower, gentler, experience,
Okay.
acidic wise. So there is that. Also, if you really truly just don't like pickles, we also make sauerkraut, kimchi, we have olives, pickle juice,
Yeah.
hot sauce, a whole bunch of different things, and
You
all of them have the probiotic benefits. Yeah.
you might get me to take a shot of it before we leave today
Okay.
just to see, because
Yeah.
maybe it is the vinegar,
Maybe
but
it is the vinegar.
we're gonna
Yeah.
find out today.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
All right. The long windy road. This is the part I was probably most interested in talking about, because Shai shared that you guys were on the farmer market journey for many years,
Yep.
and it went well, and it went well enough that you guys got into some deals with
Mm.
grocery store
Yep.
chains, and one of those was Earth Fare.
Yes.
One
Yeah.
of those was Lucky's Market.
hmm
Was there a third one?
Those were the two main ones, and then
Mm,
beyond that, we were in a good handful of independent retailers, natural food stores throughout the state. Yeah,
yeah.
we really took a long time to try to build that business up. Yeah.
And when did you first start getting into the stores?
That was probably 2015, and we put our first label on a jar, and like kind of embarrassed when you look back now, like what the whole presentation looks like. But our pickles were on the shelf. First store was Native Son,
Okay.
over at the first original location. So we had our pickles over there. Yeah, and yeah, we rebranded pretty quickly after that, and had a few more SKUs. But yeah, that's how it started. Glass
Yes.
jars at the natural food stores. Yeah.
Yes. And then when did it all unwind?
Yeah. So it was probably 3 years of driving across the state, like, leaving the house at 3:30, 4:30 in the morning and going on that, self-distributed, trek across the state to all of the stops. You have to self-distribute and build up a book of business before you can hand it off to a distributor. And we weren't there yet. We were slowly but surely building that. And yeah, I had kind of really just gotten like the Luckies and the Earth Fare, the two chains, like the high
Mhm.
quality, chain stores that were on the growth path. And yeah, we're in, I think, 40 something stores, which, doesn't
It's
sound like a
incredible,
lot, but like,
but it's also
yeah,
incredible.
one at a time. And you're
Mhm.
driving everything there. And yeah, I'm making friends with the receivers and also setting up in the store and doing demos and standing in the grocery store for 6 hours, handing out pieces of, pickle chunks to customers so they'll buy a jar of pickles,
Yeah.
Did that many times, so many times. Yeah.
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 And then something happens.
Yes. Yeah. But both Lucky's and Earth Fare went out of business within a few months of each other. Yeah. They both
Yeah.
went bust. So yeah.
And in doing so, when somebody's going out of business, you don't get your product back
Oh no. Yeah.
and your invoices don't get paid.
Yeah. That's that. Yeah.
Yeah. And so on a scale of 1 to 10, what did that bring you down to in terms of like starting point?
Yeah. So fortunately, we had continued with the farmers markets,
Yeah.
but it was like 3 years of building towards something, so that we could, and we had sent samples overnight to the distributors, and had our applications in with them, and we're very very close to getting picked up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in that regard, we were back to zero, and we're just okay, back to farmers markets.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the event that made us just
Mhm.
realize, okay, we have to do this e-commerce thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What year was that?
I would say that was 2018.
2018.
Yeah.
I asked Shy this, but I want to ask you this as well. Why didn't y'all quit?
Yeah. Um, yeah, I think maybe we tried to quit a few times, but
Yeah.
like it just wasn't like it didn't work.
Yeah.
There were times and seasons where like he stepped away a little bit or tried to do something else, or I did too, or because I had left my day job, real job, I think in 2015. 2015, yeah.
Mm.
And I always felt like, well, I can always go back to work, and a couple times I put some resumes out, but I just nothing ever really connected, and I just
Yeah.
kind of took it as a sign like, all right, got to keep going. But yeah, it was, I don't know, maybe we just felt like we had come too far. And we've always truly believed that we had something with Olive My Pickle, have something
Yeah.
with Olive My Pickle. So yeah, I don't know.
Well, I'd say so.
I'd say yeah,
Yeah, I'd
it's
say
working out
so.
now.
I often wonder, and if I'm being completely honest with you, it's probably why I started this podcast. I've often wondered how many people found themselves in the position that you were in 2018
Mhm.
that truly had something special
Right.
and quit,
Yeah. And
and
quit.
they weren't able to give their gift to the world.
Yeah.
And I've often wondered how many things we've lost along the way because people ended up in a situation that they didn't ask for. That you didn't ask for Earth Fare to go out of business, and you
Right.
didn't ask for Lucky's to go out of business, but it completely changed your life overnight by
Yeah.
doing it. And so many people could see that as a sign and
Right.
say, I wasn't meant to do this."
Right. Yeah. It's already been, gosh, 8 years. We're eight
Mhm.
years in, and then we're kind of just, I wouldn't say back to just the farmers markets, but we were trying to build beyond the farmers markets and,
Mhm.
get into grocery stores and, become a regionally distributed brand, the national, like that's
Yeah.
that's the path you're on when you're going the grocery store route. So yeah, that
Yeah,
was a big one when
of
the rug
course.
got pulled out from under of that. Yeah.
Yeah, rejection is just redirection. And obviously, the path you guys forged from that ended up being very special. It's why we're talking today.
Yeah.
Um, what would you say lessons learned from that that you've applied to the business today? And
Yeah.
with that answer, maybe we can give some advice to somebody that might be going through something similar.
Mhm.
But what did you learn that you've applied to how the business is run today,
Mhm.
and been able to be more stable, more successful, et cetera?
Yeah. I think for a long time we sort of knew that the online piece, like the digital marketing, that whole like mysterious world that at the time wasn't interesting and kind of felt scary and complicated and hard. We kind of knew we needed to go that direction. I mean,
Hmm.
but we're resisting it, I guess, a
Yeah.
little bit. But yeah, I don't know. When
Yep.
and then life sort of like pushed us in that direction. So um, it wasn't until we kind of didn't have any other options
Yeah.
till which is when we were like, okay, we've got to do it. We just have to like step up and become digital marketers that sell fermented foods, not the other way around.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I'm reminded of this quote, and I don't know who said it, but I read it somewhere, and it said, "The life you want is on the other side of the work you don't want to do."
yeah, that's a
So
good one.
it's kind of funny how
Yeah.
that came together here too.
Right. That's a really true one. That
Yeah.
one has hit with me as well.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. So you've obviously switched the business model, but now you have three business lines.
Yes.
When you decided to go the e-commerce route, did you know that there was going to be three different brands?
No.
Okay, walk
Yeah.
us through how these three came about.
Sure. So yeah, for up until a year and a half ago, it was all of my pickle, and we had our farmers market and our e-commerce, um, and so the pickle factory came out of our basically our landlord came to us at our production facility and said, the front tenant's moving out. Do you guys want the space before I rent it to somebody else? And we're like, well, yeah, we want it.
Mm.
And so at the time we thought, okay, this is gonna be a place where we can have our local customers come and pick up their All in My Pickle order just at the front door. At the time, we had an option to do local pickup on the website. You can just click a button and come get it from a little like a like a countertop fridge, and
Yeah.
it said local pickup on the fridge. So originally it was, let's just put that at the front door, and that'll be where
Mm.
where we retail All My Pickle. Um, so we got the keys like in January, and the store didn't open until like October. So yeah, we had a long time to develop this concept, and it went from that to this idea of like a pickle themed superstore, like in those months.
Mm.
Yeah, we didn't actually set out. We didn't
Yeah.
intend to do something that was
Mhm.
quite quite like this,
Yep.
but this is the brand that wanted to
Yeah.
come forth in the world. Yeah.
Yes. So the original store is on St. Augustine Road.
Yeah.
Where would it be, like University? Is
Yeah.
that the best crossroad?
Yes.
Okay. So behind the store,
Yeah.
this is just from my own experience, is like this whole warehouse distribution area. So you
Yeah.
guys were in there.
Yeah, that was our original commercial kitchen warehouse facility for Olive My Pickle for our first 15 years. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, just up until last year, that was where we were squeezed into. Yeah.
So are you? We'll get into the new production facility here shortly. The area that's behind the store now, is that you guys aren't in there at all?
We actually kept the space because it's such a great space, and it's still a commercial kitchen, which helps at the pickle factory for sampling and things like that. And then it's just warehouse space. An entire bay is also a carpentry workshop because we do a lot of our own like fixture fabrication for the store.
Yep.
So and then our carpenter keeps the tools there. So that was the original Olive My Pickle warehouse is now like a carpentry workshop.
Okay.
Yeah. So and our commercial kitchen's there,
Yep.
and some warehouse space.
Yes, and the store, which is where I have told you many times of where I shop, was not. It was much smaller than it is today. So
Yes.
you had a roommate or somebody that was a next door neighbor, and they moved out, and you guys said, "Hey, we're going to take that too."
Yeah, we doubled the footprint of the store,
Yeah.
like on the 1 year anniversary, and just we were over there. It was just a back room, but we knocked the wall down and doubled the size of the store. At 1 year. Yeah.
And when was that? So when did the new store open? Whenever it was doubled up?
We opened the store in October of 2024, and then a year later, in October 25, we did our big expansion. Yeah.
Yes, and we're in April of 2026, and
Yeah.
we're in a second store right now.
Yeah. Yep.
So that came quick.
Very quick. Yeah.
So how did that come together? Did
Yeah.
somebody reach out to you and tell you the space was going to be available?
Yeah.
Or did you guys know that you wanted to expand into St. Augustine and then you kind of went shopping?
Okay, so it's interesting because we're sitting in the original Coca-Cola bottling plant building right now.
Which is really cool, by the way.
Yeah, this is an amazing space. This is double the size of the store up north, and all this natural sunlight's pouring in. It's great.
Yep.
But actually, somebody told us that there was a great location down here, and it happens to be the doctor's office across the street, which probably isn't the best fit for the pickle factory. It's kind of a residential doctor's office.
Yeah.
So we got here and we looked at it and we're like, yeah, that's not it. But I think we parked right out front here and we were like, wait a second, what about that? And we looked through the windows and this is probably a year ago now. And we called the woman who owns the building and came and saw it. And this was right before we needed to do our big build out and move our warehouse facility. And it was like, oh, we'd love to do this, but like, there's just no way we can do that big project and open a store. So we said, if it's meant to be, it'll be here, at the right time. And we kind of walked away for, gosh, probably 6 months or so.
Yeah.
And we're busy doing other things.
Yeah. Well, in the episode before this one where we interview Shai, we're in the new warehouse distribution facility. So people are going to be able to get an opportunity to see that.
Yeah.
And whenever you see the sheer size of it, you'll understand why it was such a big project, and taking on both of these at the same time is kind of nuts.
Yeah.
So when did you came back 6 months later, just timeline wise, when
Sure.
was that?
It was November. It was like
6 months ago.
A few weeks after we did the expansion. Shai and I were like, I wonder if the Coca-Cola bottling building is still available. And we drove down here and it was. So we're like,
Yeah.
could we do this?
Yeah. Well, you did.
We did do it.
Yeah, you did, and it looks great.
Thanks.
It looks outstanding.
Yeah, I think it's a winner.
Yes. So we have Olive My Pickle, which is everything back of the house, warehouse, distribution, stuff like that. We have the pickle factory, which is the retail side. And then we have a third brand, which is Because Pickles, which is your merch line.
Yes.
How did that come to be?
Okay, that's a great question. So remember I talked about sort of the expanded vision of the pickle factory, what it was going to be. At first it was just going to be, okay, come get your Olive My Pickle. And then it turned into this pickle themed superstore. But in between there, I started to kind of imagine a bigger presentation than just Olive My Pickle.
Yeah.
So I began to try to source some things. And this is kind of where my background with different lifestyle brands comes in.
Sales, marketing, stuff like that too.
Stuff
Yes.
like that, branding. And I have since found more products to fill a store with, but at the time it felt like, if we want to make some like really cool things, we're going to need to maybe do some custom products ourselves. And then it felt like, well, maybe we should make a third little brand ourselves. That way it's
Mhm.
under our own brand and it's got its own, identity. So that's how Because Pickles was born, which is just a really fun
Yeah.
merch and fashion line. And we sell it. There's a little Because Pickles world over there, where it's all
Yeah.
displayed together as a brand.
It
Yeah.
does feel like it's taken on a life of its own as well. I've come to this store and the Jacksonville store many times, and I go to buy olives, and I see people just walking out with hats and
Oh
sweaters and
yeah.
stuff like that all day. So
Yeah.
it's got its own little.
Oh, we sell as many T-shirts as we do pickles here. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's kind of crazy. Yeah.
that's kind of
Well,
crazy.
pickles are having their big, they're having a major moment in culture right now, and we're here to make sure that's not just a fad that passes, that it's
Yeah.
going to stay. So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I kind of segues me to my next question pretty easily. You have the three brands.
Hmm.
You have the two retail stores. You have the big warehouse distribution plant. What is next?
Yeah, that's funny. So yeah, Shy and I have agreed that we're not going to make any more big moves. Like, definitely not this year.
Mm,
Um, we need to just sort of like hunker down and like
mm,
stabilize a little bit,
yeah.
and just I want to focus on the two stores. And we started them and then opened the second one so quickly that it was fast and furious, and everything looks great from the
Mm,
outside, but we definitely have a little more work to do
mm,
just operationally, to get the foundation really, really
mm,
strong. So I also just want to learn more about the business of being like a retail merchant.
yeah.
And so we're definitely on our way, and we've got an incredible team. But yeah, I want the rest of this year to really be about like
Mm,
getting the foundation really, really solid here at the Pickle Factory,
yeah.
so that we are as sound of a business here as All My Pickle is. So I don't know if that's an answer to your question,
It is an
but
answer. So
yeah,
what's next is that you're
yeah,
gonna kind of nurture and grow what's in front of you, and then
yeah.
put the big projects to the side for now.
Yeah, yeah, to the side, or just it's okay that they're a little further out.
Yeah.
We have an idea to franchise the Pickle Factory. I think this is a concept that's definitely proven itself,
Yeah.
and I think that we could probably put the Pickle Factory in more places, and it
That
would
would be
be
great.
a popular spot. But again, first things first. Yeah.
Percentage of sales wise, since you're thinking about potentially franchising, how much are you guys doing outside of Northeast Florida with your online orders, both in the state and nationally?
Yeah.
Is it a big percentage?
For All of My Pickle or Pickle Factory?
Um, Either or both.
Yeah. So they're like two totally separate companies. So if, like All of My Pickle, I would say just our biggest state that we ship to is actually California. And I know, which is crazy. When I heard
Yeah.
that, I was like, really? I really would have thought it was Florida. Florida's number two. And then of course New York and Texas. It's the same. It's the usual
Yeah.
states that you hear. Um, but yeah, like most of our business for All of My Pickle is out of state. We ship to all 50
Mhm.
states. And for Pickle Factory, we're pretty much all
Yeah.
just in Florida now, but we did just open a few months ago the picklefactory.com website.
Yeah.
And we're gonna take everything we learned as, digital marketers and e-commerce merchants at All of My Pickle. We're gonna put that towards Pickle Factory because we sell fermented over here, but
Yeah.
people want vinegar pickles too. So that's what we're doing over at
Yeah.
picklefactory.com. Yeah.
Okay. That's actually a good tidbit for people to know.
Yeah.
So, um, the natural curiosity in me is because of what happened in 2018, could you ever see yourself getting back into grocery,
Mm,
Publix, Winn-Dixie,
yeah.
Harvey's, et cetera? Like, is that on your mind?
I think yes, definitely, and we're more prepared for it now because we have our new facility.
Mhm.
We were really capped at our old building, and again, it's been less than a year since we've moved out. So, yeah, we
Mm,
we were actually like limiting our growth for All of My Pickle in that building. We just
mm,
couldn't grow past a certain point. And now that we're in our new spot, we can. It's totally uncapped.
okay.
We still have to grow in a smart way and
Yeah.
not get ahead of ourselves, but we that opens up the ability to look at grocery stores
Okay.
again. So
I really believe that would be the biggest full circle moment
right.
ever if we could just see the new flexible packaging in the cold section of Publix.
Yeah.
I would just, to me, I'm not even involved in this, and it would just brighten me up. So I can't even imagine what that would do for the two of you.
Yeah, I like that. And like I said, we
Mhm.
could do that.
Yeah.
We could pursue that. Yeah,
Okay.
I should say. Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna keep my eye out for it.
Okay.
Um, with the brands, the two stores, the distribution, the online e-commerce, the multiple websites, it's just a natural curiosity. How are you guys managing all of that?
Yeah.
How do you
Yeah.
keep it all together?
Sometimes it feels like it's right on the edge. But I think it's been 16 years that we've been like super focused on this. So Shy and I work really closely and we're just, yeah,
Mhm.
totally in unison and in unity with what we're doing. We're definitely not doing it ourselves either. We've got like a great team, and especially at Olive My Pickle, we've got like some depth of teams. Some of our um, staff's been there for like a good few years now. So we've got like veteran staff as well.
Good.
And then even here at the Pickle Factory, with our newer staff, it's super solid. So
Hmm.
I guess the answer to the question is we're doing it with a great team.
Yeah,
Even though the team in some areas is young and we're figuring it out a lot together, everyone's pretty committed.
that's
So
awesome.
yeah,
I was going to save this for a little bit later, but it's on topic. Growing a business, and in your case, growing three of them. How important is it to have a good partner, a good spouse? I mean,
hmm
like, knowing that sometimes at home you're just not going to be able to give all the attention to inside the house because you've got things that you have to manage outside the house.
yeah,
What is it foundationally? How important
yeah.
is it for a business owner to have a great partner?
I can't speak for all business owners, but like I don't know how we would have grown and done and built the business we have built
Hmm.
without being just committed to each other and even just as a family. Like even when the boys were young, just being able to have them in the building with us, and they fell asleep on the futon out in the warehouse, and we needed to stay late and work, and we were together. We always just were like, well, at least we're together,
Yeah.
even if it's 11 o'clock at night and we're packaging pickles,
Yeah.
which isn't really where you want to be late at night. But many, many, many times. And the boys are asleep right out there.
Hmm.
At least we're together.
Yeah.
So I would say it's the most important thing
Okay.
for us anyway.
All right. Couple of like rapid fire ish questions for
Okay.
you. Number one would be, you've done so great in Jacksonville. What has Jacksonville done so well that has afforded you the opportunity to um, plant here and grow in a very, I mean, so fast. I mean, it just happens like once you guys got in this, it happened so fast. But you guys put in roots and then you just
Yeah.
sprouted. And what has Jacksonville done that's allowed that to happen?
It's funny because it doesn't feel like it's fast because it's been 16 years.
Yeah. But once it happened,
Yeah.
it happened.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
true. I It might sound hokey, but like, I don't know, just the customer community came out every single Saturday for years, like a decade and a half, and just continued
Mm.
to come out and support and buy. And like during COVID, when we had to, shut down, we opened up our warehouse, like
Mm.
they came out there.
Yep.
That's like we wouldn't have a business if the customers hadn't come out
Yeah.
and bought and
Yes.
supported and like, yeah, week after week, year
Yeah.
after year.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna I want to turn that around on you a little bit. People wouldn't go outside of the house to go buy your product if your product wasn't worth buying. So
True.
I do appreciate that the people came out and supported you and made sure that you guys were afloat the whole time. However, you guys gave them a reason to. And I
Mhm.
want to make sure that you know that because they do deserve a lot of credit, but you guys deserve the bulk of the credit for buying something that's worth buying.
Well, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
Yeah.
Out of the three brands, we're just going to lump them all under one umbrella. We're just going to call it you and Shy. Everything you guys have built. What is something that people don't know about this that they should?
Oh gosh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Um, I gosh, I think that in a lot of ways, I actually answered this question a couple weeks ago for on the page somewhere else,
Mhm.
and this is a toughie.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
You can take a second.
Okay.
It could be about the process. It could be about
Yeah.
it could be about you guys as a family. It could be about,
Yeah.
but people, you do so good on social media. People
Yeah.
see the product, they see people eating it, they see people drinking it. Everything's, the story's out there. The
Yeah.
business journal's written about you, other places have written about you.
Yeah.
But there's got to be something, maybe about the work behind the scenes or how the
Yeah.
pickles are made or whatever. There's got to be something that
Okay.
maybe isn't out there.
Yeah. Um, I guess, and maybe it's like part of the message to anybody who is like, yeah, just slogging through it and has been working really hard.
Mhm.
Like it can take a
Mm.
really, 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 really long time for something to like finally start to like bear fruit. And I mean, it can be way past the point where it makes any sense that you're even still doing it. And that's how like our story was. It's just
Mm.
it was, yeah, like a
Yeah.
long road. Um so I don't know if that's not something that people don't know, but I guess it's like, the whole keep the faith
Mhm.
thing, I guess, a little bit of the message there.
Yep.
Um yeah.
I That's fair. I will tell you, I've been a big fan of yours since 2021, and I didn't know that this journey started in 2010. So that
Mm,
was something I learned,
okay.
but it took me sitting here with you guys to know
Yeah.
that. So it'd be nice for everybody else to know
Yeah.
that this wasn't something that just kind of spurred out of,
Yeah, it's true. Or like we were just like super successful looking
yeah.
from day one. No, we did farmers markets for 8 years. The first 8 years was just farmers markets. And that was, yeah, we were up at 4 o'clock in the morning every Saturday. And like I would load up the car with a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old and drive to the market, and Shy would
Yeah.
drive to another one. And yeah, the kids would run around and
Yeah.
we'd do the market and like lift all the stuff in and out for years.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
Okay.
that's what it takes sometimes.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep.
Outside of keeping the faith, what is the number one piece of advice you would give an aspiring business owner
Mm.
who's trying to get something off the ground, but maybe running into a lot of the speed bumps that you guys
Yeah.
once ran into?
I've seen when you work farmers markets for so many years, you see a lot of like little businesses kind of come and go.
Mhm.
And one of the things I always noticed was when someone's business would sort of start to, have customers, and very quickly, a lot of times people would try to just give it to an employee and hand it off. And then they would, okay, I get to now sit back and not participate, or just,
Yeah.
take the day off or something. And yeah, I don't think that's a great idea. I think you need to stay as connected to your business as you possibly can for as long as you can.
Mhm.
Yeah, especially when it's pretty young like that. So I don't know, we may have overdone it a little bit but
Uh,
I don't know if I recommend everybody taking the road we did. That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think there's a tendency to want to move on from just the early kind of startup phase, and yeah, a little too soon maybe.
Mhm.
And yeah, sometimes you
Don't
need
be
to stick with it longer than
Yeah,
you
don't
need
be
to.
so quick to give up.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Or try to move on, or
That's fair
yeah,
advice.
and not quit, but hand
Yeah.
it to a like a staff person or something. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's great.
Yeah.
I agree. I gotta ask, Shy shared with me you guys crossed the 100 employee mark. Is that accurate?
Yeah, we're it's always like somewhere around there.
Right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
But it started with 2,
Yeah.
and now you've grown to 100. He shared with me a lot of the benefits you guys provide your employees,
Mhm.
which makes this place a great place to work.
Yeah.
I want to commend you on that.
Thanks.
Uh,
Yeah.
the other thing I want to commend you on is how I want to end it. Is I always end with gratitude. It's always a little bit different, but there's a few things I want to say. Number one, you guys are responsible for 100 people being able to feed their families.
Mm.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Thanks.
That's got to feel really good.
Yeah.
In a world where if you didn't exist, they may not have a job, they have a job, and they have a great job. So great job making sure that that was accessible to them. And as you grow, obviously, I expect that number to get bigger.
Mhm.
I'm grateful that you built it in Jacksonville. I'm grateful that the city I live in, which is a city that's full of 28,000 and some change small businesses, and a
Mhm.
lot of them don't always succeed, that you kept going, you kept planting roots, you kept making sure that it was here. And you've now given me 2 retail stores to go to get something that I love so dearly,
Oh yes.
which are the butter olives,
Yep.
and I got my little picker in here.
Yep.
But I appreciate that. But ultimately, you're quite literally making Jacksonville a better place. And for that, for my team, for my podcast, for the city that I live in, I just want to say I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for Shy.
Thank you.
And
Yeah.
I'm grateful that you took the time to hang out with me today.
Yeah. Thank you so much for saying that. It's like, yeah, one doesn't hear that very often.
Nope. There's a huge,
Appreciate that.
sometimes there's a big disconnect. The long
Yeah.
road as an entrepreneur, you make it. Sometimes people are like, oh, it must be nice.
Right. Yeah.
And then, but they're only seeing this.
Yep.
And I know the road it took. And once again, you continue to give it back to people in the city, and you deserve that. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate
Thank you for being
it.
on.
Thanks, Randall.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
This was fun.
Awesome. All right. Well, I'm
Time
gonna
for
have
some
it.
butter olives.
Yeah, I'm gonna have an olive. Would you like one?
Sure. We haven't had one in a while.
There we go. Awesome. I think you're gonna get me to drink pickle juice here in a moment too. And I'm a little nervous.